about this little situation I just ended last night. And I just want to say, ladies, you have to know your worth no matter how much you like somebody, no matter what they can do for you. If it doesn't work for you, it just does not work for you. And it's just best to end it versus just dragging things on. And I feel like now that I do not talk to this individual anymore, it feels like a weight has been lifted. But I was a little sad last night. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Like, I was sad, like real sad. But I'm gonna get into it. I was in Atlanta on a contract, and I met him because I've been on this. I started this spiritual journey last year, getting closer to God, and I'm ready to meet my husband wherever he is. But yeah, so you know the whole under the table thing for New Year's that everybody was doing, eating the grapes and stuff. I was like, I'm not gonna do all that. I'm gonna just write everything down on a piece of paper, and I put it in an envelope. And I offered it as a sacrifice to God that I'm going to keep these things holy and dear to me. And I'm going to follow his word this upcoming year and just to build a friendship with God. Okay. So I'm on this spiritual journey. I started last year with reading the Bible and everything. And I was on a contract in Atlanta, and I was staying in like an Airbnb type place where I was renting out a room in a lady's house while I was working. And the lady, she's very like spiritual, whatever, super nice lady. And she knew him from her son. And he's 28. He's 29. I'm 28. And I met him because once she ended up telling him about me like last November. And then she also gave me his number to reach out about something in my house because I wanted to Airbnb my house, whatever. And I never reached out. He never reached out. But closer to the end of the year, she wanted some stuff done in her house, and he was just there to do it, like able to do it or whatever. She called on him. New Year's Day, he knocked on the door, and when I opened the door, I knew he was coming because I ended up texting him, and I was like, hey, I heard such and such was letting me know that you was coming by to do the door or whatever. And he was like, yeah, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I knew he was coming, so I put on some clothes, got ready, blah, 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 and he ended up knocking at the door. I had to put it on 10 minutes because I might be talking for that long. But anyways, so yeah, he came by and I opened the door and he was like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And I was like, you too. No, I didn't say that, but I was being super like, you know, boy, whatever. And I'm like, whatever. So he ended up doing some stuff in the room. I ended up helping him, but we ended up having a real nice conversation while we was down there. I was helping him, whatever. And then after that, he invited me to church. And I was like, to church? Let's go. I'm like, I'm on a spiritual journey. I'm going to church. I want me a Christian, godly man. Yes. That's what I want, Lord. And if this is him, thank you. But, because we're here, I know that's not him. But, yeah, he invited me to church. And I was like, cool. I would definitely go. Like, yeah, sure. Why not? But then we ended up going upstairs and we ended up talking a little bit more in the living room. And he started talking about his past relationship, and he was like an open book, and I really appreciated that because my last relationship ended and I felt like I didn't know him. So for him to be coming outright and just telling me everything, I don't know if that's a red flag, but for me it was just like, oh, okay, well, you just know how to communicate. You just let me know, like, and I had just met him, and I really liked that about him. So after that, he ended up inviting me out Saturday, which was a couple days later or something like that. I don't remember, but it was a couple days later, and he asked me what I like to do and stuff, and I told him I like, competitive stuff. So we ended up making a date to go to Activate in Atlanta. So we ended up talking a little bit more, and then he left, and child, I was in shambles. In shambles, I tell you. I was in shambles because I'm just like, oh my God, I just made these wishes, and if my man is coming to knock on this door and he is right here in my face already, Lord, you work in perfect timing. But anywho, so we ended up going on a date or whatever. I had a really good time. We ended up going out to eat, had some drinks, and all of that. So okay, so ended up having a good time or whatever. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a Christian man. Anywho, So after that, we was talking. Today's what? March 22nd. Anywho, we was talking and we still had good conversation, but I was leaving. My contract was over January 11th, and I met him on the 1st. So we only had 10 days to really get to know each other. And a couple days later, we went on a date and stuff. And it started snowing and everything in Atlanta. So we were spending quite a bit of time together. And I really liked that. And I was real sad that I was meeting him right before I left to go back home, because I knew that I wasn't really going to be seeing him no more. And I'm not even gonna lie, I'm a little clingy. I can be a little clingy. But it's only because I wouldn't say I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm hopeful. I am a hopeful romanticist. Okay? I am ready for my husband, and, you know, it is what it is. But anywho, so we've been talking this whole time. So eventually I started catching on to little things he would say, and little things that, like, on paper, this man checks all the boxes. Makes good money. He owns a couple houses. He's only 29, no kids, not married, never been married, don't have no other kids out here running around. He takes care of his mom, take care of his family. He was in church. He had a relationship with God. He would go to the gym. He everything on paper, he was it. When I tell you he was it, he was it. And he was good looking, dreads and all. Like, I wasn't into light skins, but he was a little lighter than I liked, or I preferred. But he was still cute. Like, I would date him. Like, yeah. So on paper, he was it. But, and I could be super witty, but I'm not nasty witty. Like, I can make fun of you or whatever, but I'm like I'll apologize right afterwards, because I don't want to offend anybody. And deep down, I want a person who's up for the challenge, but I don't want a person who down talks me either. And not saying he down talks me, but whatever. So, anywho, on paper he was good, but his mouth, y'all, his mouth got the best of me. Anyways, he ended up coming down to my house to Orlando to help me install some stuff, because I ended up finding a tenant to move into one of my rooms in my house. And I didn't have any blinds in my house, and I wanted to put some things up in my house. And he came down from Atlanta, and he stayed to my house for a couple days, like 3 days. And I'm not even gonna lie, y'all, I had plans to be busy that weekend. And I'm not saying busy doing other things. I'm talking about busy doing that thing, okay? And I wasn't even worried about all that stuff. I was just ready to see him, because I had flew back home, and it was like a week or two later, and I was ready to see him. So he came, and he ended up putting blinds up in my house and everything. And I tell y'all, I don't know if I was ovulating or if I was just, because he was there, I was ready. But I was ready, okay? I was ready to the point where I called my mother and told her I called my mom. I mean, my mom do not talk about stuff like that, but I called my mom and I told her I was ready. And it's so funny, because my mom was like, oh my God, you better go. And I'm like, I'm trying to stay sober. I'm trying to be abstinent. I'm trying to hold on, but he right there. Well, she didn't know he was at my house, but anywho. Yeah, so we ended up putting the blinds up in my house or whatever, and he ended up leaving, and we didn't do anything. So we really decided that we was just going to be friends, but right before that, and he was just going to come to my house and help me do some things. And that's really all it was. And I was a little upset when he left, to be honest, because I wanted to. But, so that happened. He left, went back home, and that was sometime end of January. So come February, because of his job, he's super busy, so he don't really text throughout the day, but at night we was talking. But then it started to dwindle, because I'm a person that communicates with my family every day and my friends every day, but he don't really communicate with his family and stuff like that. He don't really communicate with his friends like that. He's really into his job, and I can't really take that away from somebody, like, when they're about their money. Like, you about your money, do you? But at that point, he told me he didn't want a relationship. He wasn't looking for something. I should have known then that this wasn't going to work because I'm ready for my husband, and I'm ready for my husband to find me. But yes, after that, we just kept talking throughout February, and I started to pick up on some things he would say here and there that I wasn't really liking anymore. And anyway, so I ended up telling him that, because we agreed, because I kind of knew he was playing mind games, and I started to pick up on things. And I told him, people make time for what they want to make time for. And I don't care what type of job you have. Communication is key when you're talking to somebody. And you can't be busy all day, every day. And at least give somebody a heads up, because that's just being considerate of somebody else's time. And if I'm interested, that's the thing, ladies. You need to get you somebody that likes you more than you like them. And not I can't say that. Get you somebody that is equally yoked with you and want the same thing that you want, because this is what happens. So yeah, we would talk throughout the day. We text here and there, rarely. I don't like texting, but we would really text, but we definitely stay on the phone. And when we did be on the phone, we would talk for a while. And I really like that, because I like to talk. So in my mind, I told him, hey, so we're friends, and because you don't want to pursue anything, you're not ready for a relationship, you're trying to build your relationship with God, that is totally fine with me. I'm trying to do the same, but I'm ready for a husband, and if you're not him, then we can be friends. Mistake number 2, ladies. You're never friends with somebody you mess with. In that way. Never, ever, 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 ever. There is no friendship. There is no friendship. So I should have just deaded it then. Anywho, fast forward to day before yesterday night. We was on the phone, and we pick on each other, but he was doing it in a way where he was calling me weird, and he was and when somebody's joking about something, like it's like like we both laughing, but I feel like I felt attacked, and I've had that before, and I don't like that feeling. And he ended up telling me that this man ended up telling me that I was stuck on him. He said, oh yeah, you stuck on me, I already know. I said, oh yeah? I was like, oh yeah? What make you think that? Because I can show you that I'm not stuck on you. And I'm not trying to prove a point to him. But that really put things into perspective for me, because I was in a 5-year relationship before and I felt stuck. And for him to come outright and say that to me, jokingly or not jokingly, I took it very seriously. And I don't play games like that, because I'm not stuck on you. And I'm going to show you I'm not stuck on you. And then just from that, what he said, I started to replay every single thing that made me feel some type of way. And I came to the conclusion that he's not for me, because I want a gentleman. I want a man that's considerate. I want a man that knows how to communicate. And he didn't have those things. And I felt like he wasn't doing much for me, y'all. Let's just say that. He was not buying me nothing. Like I said, he was good on paper, but he didn't have the qualities that I'm looking for, which is a godly man and a husband. He did not have those things. And for me to sit here and want to keep the relationship we had going on, knowing I would never get that from him, I'm just doing myself a disservice at this point. And yesterday, I thought about it most of the day while I was at work, and I was like, you know what? Oh, and this week, bro, I forget the whole biggest part. I was supposed to be going to Atlanta this weekend. Because I had 5 days off from work. 5 days off from work. That one day I ended up switching so that I can have a consecutive 5 days off, so I can go to Atlanta, and so we can spend some time together. Like, what? How do I forget that? Okay, so I was going to Atlanta this weekend because I ended up telling him, hey, I got these days off, blah, blah, blah. And we've been talking about trying to see each other for the longest. And I told him I had the 5 days off, and we looked at flights and stuff. But the flights was so freaking expensive because I'm in a little rural town in Indiana right now. And the flights was like $800, $900, like one way. I was like, no. So I was also going to go see my dad while I was down there, but that's a 6-hour drive from Indiana to Atlanta. But I was willing to make the drive so that we can spend some time together. Don't start. Okay? I give people the benefit of the doubt, but the doubt The doubt is getting me, okay? The doubt is getting me, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Anywho, so this whole past weekend, I was telling him that I was coming down there, making little hints or whatever. He never said anything about me staying at his place, but he ended up saying that he had somebody moving in, and he basically sounded like he was going to be busy and I can't move, like I can't stay with him. So I ended up booking me my own hotel or whatever. Listen, I'm growing and I'm learning. Ended up booking my own hotel, and he didn't know that. So the day before yesterday, he was like, oh, so, did you, are you coming or whatever? And I was like, yeah, I just booked my hotel or whatever. And he was like, how much is the hotel? And I told him, and he was like, well, he never came out and said I could stay with him. He was like, why would you pay for that? And you can stay here, blah, blah, blah. So he's one of them people that he won't come outright and tell you that, hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And I don't know why, but he'll make it seem like, oh, well, why would you do that? And you can stay here. But he's not the type to be like, oh, yeah, you could just stay at my place. Like, it's no issue. Like, don't worry about it. So he let you figure it out. And I feel like that's a little narcissistic to me. I don't know. Y'all let me know. But that's what happened. And then eventually, as the night went on, he was just like, I'm stuck on him. And I was like, oh, you got me fucked up. And that's exactly what I said to him. I said, you got me fucked up because stuck on you. I'm not stuck on you. Then I started to replay everything, and I was like, you know what? Tomorrow. Oh, and then he, right before we got off the phone, because I hung up the phone. Right before we got off the phone, he was like, I don't even know why you still on the phone with me. Why you still talk to me? And I was like, you know what? Me neither. And I hung up the phone. The next day, I ended up going to work, and I was like, you know what? If he don't text me all day, don't call me all day. And after that, he didn't text, he didn't call. That nigga went to sleep. He went to sleep peacefully and did not care. And that was another thing. Went to sleep peacefully, did not care about anything. And I was like, you know what? If I have to go to work and come home and he don't say nothing to me, he don't call me, he don't text me by 12 o'clock, I'm done. And I will cancel all this shit. I'm canceling everything. So, y'all, I could be a little delusional, like, for real. I can have a little delulu in me, and I think that's okay sometimes. Like, it's okay to be delusional, but be delusional about your husband. Don't be delusional about these little hooligans out here that don't want to take you seriously. Anywho, went to work, came home, no call, no text. And I was like, I talked to my best friend, and I absolutely love her because she keep me on a narrow path. She get you some friends that can see your situation. And she was like, you know what, Takira, I've been meaning to tell you, but I just don't want, I need you to learn on your own. And I am learning, because she said you give people the benefit of the doubt too much, and you just got to let it go sometimes. And she's right. You do have to let it go sometimes. Ooh. Okay, went to work and came home and talked to her, and I was like, you know what? You're right. So 12 o'clock is it. 12 o'clock is it. And I'm going to let him know I don't want to do this, and I'm going to just cancel everything that I had planned on booking. And I thought even if I didn't see him in Atlanta, I was going to just take a little woosah trip to Atlanta and enjoy my time, enjoy myself, so I can get out of this little town in Evansville. But I was like, you know what? Why waste money? When you can just stay here and you can do something here. You can find something to do here with your time. And yeah. So 12 something came, and he did not text or call me. Are you surprised? He did not text or call me. And he didn't text or call me all day, and the very next day I was supposed to be driving down to see him and spend time with him. Absolutely not. You're not gonna play in my face like that. Like, so at 12:11, I ended up texting him not a long message, but basically, I said, my feelings have changed. I've done some reflecting, and I don't care to do this anymore. I can insert the message for you guys. And y'all, tell me why. He messaged. I'm going to come back. Hold on. So I told him I've done some reflecting, and I want to be upfront with him, and because I don't think this is moving in the direction that I thought it might. And I sent that at 11:19, actually. I sent it at 11:19 because I had to go look back at the message. You know, he texted me back up. He texted me 20 minutes later. This man texted me 20 minutes later saying, thank you for being upfront with me. something, something, something else. Stay blessed. I said, oh, oh my God. And you know what? After I sent the message, I felt like a weight has been lifted off of me, but I got a little sad. I can't even lie. Like, it was the end of something I thought might have been something. And I think we all grieve a little bit of every relationship that we have. But yeah. Yeah, he texted me that, and yeah, I was a little sad, but I took my behind to sleep, and here we are the next morning, and I'm just letting y'all know what happened. Yeah, so roster back to zero, you know what I mean? But that's okay, because I'm on a journey to be with my husband, and God gonna be cooking him up for me. And you know, we always stay blessed, we're always gracious, we're always thankful. We are godly beings, okay? And never let somebody make you feel less than for leaving a situation. Do it for yourself. Know when to leave the first time. And I'm learning, and I'm glad it only took 2.5 months to realize that. And when you start to follow God and want to build a relationship with him, he's going to test you, or you will be tested on your righteousness and your faithfulness to him. And it comes a time where your tolerance for certain things just it's not the same anymore. You're not the same person anymore, and you're not willing to go through the same things again. And when you follow God, you have to change your ways, because I realized that the way I was doing it was not working for me. And I felt like God's way always works, and he does everything for your good. And I want my life to be good, so I follow him. And we also talked, I really want to talk about this, what I bring to the table question, because that he ended up asking me that too. And I had to reflect on it for a good day, but I can get into that into another video, because that is like a rabbit hole. Okay. And what hit a little harder was when I reflected on when I did the whole wish thing to God, or for him to bless me for my husband, and he came knocking the next day or that same day. God ain't the only one listening. God ain't the only one listening. And this man went to church, and he did everything that I wanted him to do, but his intentions were wrong. His intentions weren't in the right place for me and for what I was on a journey to be with. Yeah, just know God ain't the only one listening, and God will show you patience. And I'm learning that every day. But don't let nobody get you in them type of situations. God ain't the only one listening. Remember that. God ain't the only one listening, okay? But anywho, God is good all the time, and all the time he is good. And just know everything works out for your good. You'll be fine. But this weekend, this 5-day weekend I have off, I will be spending it here in Indiana, finding something to do, because plans change. And yeah, and I'm actually happy about that. I'm happy that I'm free. I don't have to deal with nobody's foolishness. I don't have to be confused. I don't have to go through the things I was going through with him, because it was a very confusing situation, and I didn't know his intentions until I really knew his intentions. So stay blessed, y'all, and see you in the next video. Bye.